Welcome to the Odds Award-winning Oswego Sports Update. I'm Blaze Hill. Adam, I got some bad news, buddy. This is the last show of the semester.
Well, I'm Adam Rupsick, but that's okay because we're going to give you the best show we've ever seen. Also, the end of the semester means the end of sports season. We'll recap everything from the great year of Laker athletics. And LeBron James won his 4th MVP award. Rangers struggling. J.R. Smith still hasn't walked the walk postseason. Here we come. OSU starts now.
Let's get it. The Oswego State Lakers fell 2 wins short of winning a SUNYAC postseason championship with their 16-1 loss to Cortland on Sunday. The Lakers were the final team to be eliminated from the SUNYACs. This team accomplished a lot this season, from offense to pitching, and really cracked down the second half of the season to go into the playoffs with a lot of confidence. It seems unlikely the Lakers will receive an at-large bid. So with their season now over, Adam, what's the biggest thing we can take away from their 2013 campaign?
Well, I'll tell you what, improvement. Great improvement hitting-wise.
Yeah.
They came out, they hit the ball well all season long. You know, they started off okay hitting in the last years. Also pitching was another big factor. They go with the weather. They were postponing, playing doubleheaders all season, going in, and they were playing deep games. A lot of games went into extra innings, and they got it done. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat. They did beat this Cortland team earlier in the season. Just came down to it. This Cortland team beat them. They beat them 3-8 in the earlier game in the SUNYAC tournament. Came in the championship. Give props to this Cortland team, ranked nationally, third ranked nationally coming in. They did what they had to do, but Oswego State did their thing too.
Not to mention, starting off this season, the baseball team, in February and March, there's really nowhere to practice outside. The Romney indoor facilities weren't open yet, so they're practicing, essentially in a gym. Not a lot to work with there in the early going, so props to them. Not a lot of people expected them to even make the SUNYACs. In my preseason predictions, I certainly didn't have them getting there. They have nothing to be ashamed of right now. They beat New Paltz, who swept them 0-3 this season. And then they beat Fredonia after a loss to Cortland. Then, of course, in the championship game, unable to beat Cortland one final time. They had 5 errors in those 4 games, something I've been kind of saying all year. Got to take care of those errors. 3 of those came against Fredonia, almost cost them that game. They scored a lot of runs. And in the end, Cortland Red Dragon pitching just got to him. I mean, it's almost a legit 5-man rotation, which for D3 college baseball is unheard of.
Hey, you said it, though, the errors thing, and we talked about the errors. That was really the only thing we could pick out from this team all year. Yeah. It wasn't their pitching, it wasn't their hitting. They did both those things well. So to pick the errors, it's kind of a good thing for us to only be able to pick out errors. Were the only downfall of this team this season. It's ran into a tough team in the championship, but props to that team. Excited to see them play next year because now they've tasted the greatness. Women's softball made some history this past week. First, they won their first playoff game in program history, and then the Lakers, who were the 6th seed, were the first 6th seed to knock off the number 1 seed in Brockport. The team lost their next 2 games, and this team is returning a lot of players. What did this win do for the program, Blaze?
Adam, this win means so much for the program. Really baby steps. You can't be disappointed that they only won 1 game. I think, just the fact that they made the SUNYACs for 2 straight years, and then they won their first ever postseason game for this program. That speaks volume to this, to this program and what they were trying to accomplish this year, and really how much they accomplished their goals. Anytime you do a first for a program, there's absolutely nothing to be disappointed with. They're only graduating 4, only 1 of which is a pitcher. Of course, one of their best pitchers. However, this team, as you said, returning a lot of people, a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors. Next year, I think, will be the year we're going to see them make it a 3rd time to the postseason. Maybe win 2 or 3 games. Maybe make a run at that SUNYAC title next year.
Yeah, you look at, I like comparing the baseball and softball teams this year to the basketball teams of the winter.
Yeah,
we expected the men's teams to come in both sides and play well. When they did. Women's teams, we really didn't know. The women's basketball team did good things. This softball team really turned it around this season. Started off real rough. Couldn't get wins on the early season, plain and simple. We tried to sugarcoat this team as much as we could on OSU for weeks. Oh, they might get better as the weeks go on, and they did.
Similar to women's basketball.
And they really did. They started playing well. They got wins and got this seed. Knocked off Mercy ruled them. In the SUNYACs. So props to them, but then they got they got to beat the other teams. They got to beat Geneseo. They got to beat Plattsburgh. They didn't even score in those games. You got to score when you're in the SUNYAC championships.
But certainly a 9-0 win over the #1 team in the SUNYAC. Certainly nothing to be disappointed of. Again, the first win in postseason for this program. So much to be proud of. So much to build on for next year. Just the sky's the limit right now for this team. Adam.
You look, Tori Travato, leading hitter, 415. She's a freshman. She'll be back. Dual athlete.
Watch out. She's doing women's hockey as well. So watch out for Tori Travato. 4 Oswego State track and field athletes brought home a conference championship in their respective competitions. Matt Wagenhauser won the 400-meter dash and qualified for nationals. Mallory Eckert won the javelin throw, the first Laker to do so since 2008. Brittany Del Seis became the first Laker, men's or women's, to be named a pole vault champion, and Katie Bott placed second in the 800-meter dash. However, she did so with a school record time of 2:13, shattering the previous Oswego women's record for that event by almost 5 seconds. Adam, what a weekend for Oswego track and field. There must be something in the water.
It must be, and it must be at that new Romney Fieldhouse they just built up, because they are running well, fielding well, whatever the track term is for it, they're doing it. And I'll tell you what, we look at Wagenhauser comes in, great season for him. Really put an elite step in his name. He's not just winning tournaments, he's not just going out, he's dominating things, really making himself. I think he has a good chance to place in this national tournament. The others, good season as well. I don't know about the competition out there in Division III track nationally, but I like Wagenhauser's chances out there. He's dominating.
And at 48.16, that's actually one of the 14th best Division III times ever for track and field for the 400. And what you kind of alluded to, Adam. Wagenhauser and Del Seis, these are two athletes that really put track and field on the map here at Oswego.
Yeah.
Certainly a sport like track and field gets overshadowed by baseball and softball, and of course almost everything gets overshadowed by the winter sports. But with performances like what we saw from Wagenhauser and Del Seis, not only in the postseason, but really all season, these are two athletes that we've been talking about all year, and they still got time to come, especially Del Seis, only being a sophomore. Got many years to come where we'll be talking about them here on Oswego Sports Update. So much to be proud. Del Seis, of course, 11 feet, 7 3/4 inches. Adam, you think you could jump that high over a pole?
I probably not even off a trampoline, but here we go. As the year comes to an end, so does the year of Laker athletics. From the spring, as we're talking about now, from the fall to a great winter season as usual. Blaze, give me some highlights and lowlights of Laker athletics this year.
Well, Adam, let's brush quick on the fall sports. Remind everyone, men's soccer went 4-10-1, women's soccer 7-9, field hockey 6-10. Both programs kind of a similar thing we were talking about with softball. Never really had it the whole year, and then unlike softball, they were unable to turn it around. But soccer got a lot of great things coming on the horizon. Field hockey as well, a bounce back year from 2011, 2012, where they really couldn't put a win in the books. And then Adam, winter sports take over, basketball kicks off. Hockey kicks off. This campus comes abuzz with their Laker athletics.
Here we go in the spring, still showing our favoritism towards that winter sports. We could talk days about. We look in coming into hockey, this hockey team with all those seniors on it, definitely a favorite to go back to the national championship.
Oh, yeah.
We had Paul Rodriguez on the show earlier in the year saying it's our year to go to the national championship. Too bad they lost. They did go, lost in the championship. You go back to basketball. Jason Leone, Hayden Ward took over. Ward Force, as I like to call it, the great hashtag we created here at WTOP, and kept that going with.
Yeah.
But real good men's side of sports.
And of course, then the women's side, basketball, as we mentioned, Adam. Really, they lost Kayla Ryan. Nobody expected much from them. They come out and they blew us out of the water.
Yeah.
They actually ended up making it farther in the SUNYAC postseason than the men did. And then women's hockey, same thing, making the postseason. And they're a young team as well. They don't graduate a lot. I believe they graduate one this year. A lot of juniors next year for them. Winter sports and then spring sports, we've talked about a lot this year. We just kind of brushed over on that. Great year for Laker athletics. So much more to come next year. There's always another season. And there's always another segment after the break. So coming up on Oswego Sports Update, we'll throw some stories up for grabs. Stick with us. You won't want to miss it.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me. Feed the pig.
You're watching
Oswego
Sports.
Update.
I told you we'd be back. Welcome back to OSU. Let's send it over to Joe Manganiello to place him up for grabs. Anything good for us, brother?
A lot of things good for you, brother. For the fourth time this career, LeBron James has won the MVP. Joins very elite company. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain's the only players to win the award 4 times. James said he was humbled to win the award, but remember, it was James that recently said it sucked. He didn't win the Defensive Player of the Year award. And for the second straight year, James finished in second. Guys, do you think there's a slight against LeBron in that category? Do you think he ever takes home the Defensive Player of the Year honors?
Let's see. LeBron, Defensive Player of the Year honors. I think he could take it home. I think we've seen LeBron throughout his career. You know, he won the Rookie of the Year. He wasn't winning MVPs right away. Now look at him. 4 MVPs in the last 5 years. You know, he wasn't winning a championship. He couldn't be clutch. Now he's won a championship. Now he's clutch. Hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year. He seems like a guy to me, Adam, that if he sets his mind to it, he can do anything.
Well,
We're all witnesses.
I mean, probably. He could go out there.
Probably to the greatest player in the NBA?
He's obviously got the athletic talent to do it.
Okay.
But you look at the defense is a beautiful thing in basketball. And you look at the players that play it well throughout history. This year, Tony Allen, I think, deserved the best. I think he's the best defensive player in the NBA, bar none, because you only focus on his defense. He's not a star offensive player. He's not going to go out there and do anything else extraordinary. But he'll play defense on your best player every night.
So he's better. He's better than LeBron. Is what? Yes.
No.
I'm sorry. Defensively, he's better than LeBron.
Defensively, he is the best defensive player in the NBA.
But are you also saying that a player who's offensively gifted, he could win it, but you just think there's a better defender?
I think it's apples and oranges. Defense is a whole different spectrum.
That's fair. Joe Mags, more.
Ben McLemore's amateur status may be in trouble, guys. USA Today reports that McLemore's AAU coach received a sum of $10,000 in cash to steer the guard to a sports agent. University and McLemore say they don't know anything about these allegations. McLemore has been projected as high as #1 on some NBA mock drafts. Fellas, should the NCAA punish Kansas, or should McLemore be punished?
Interesting.
Well, you look at this whole story, still a lot of questions left to be resolved here. Punishment-wise, I don't think McLemore needs any punishment if he had no idea about it.
Yeah.
He's just out there playing AAU, high school kid, playing AAU basketball. He's going to an elite program. So whatever happened, Kansas, here's $10,000, your AAU coach. Hey, talk Ben into coming to Kansas for us. So I think, and then he leaves, one and done, so Kansas really doesn't make out anyway. But like we talked about.
Yeah. And Adam, I think it comes down to, we're kind of playing, we're playing the if game, because that's all we can do. If McLemore didn't know anything about it, I don't see how you can punish him.
Yeah.
If the coach said, hey, I got paid, if he knows, then I think, we might be seeing some things on McLemore. Kansas, of course, they didn't really benefit from it. If they knew about it, if they told, if they hired someone to pay him, I think you got to punish Kansas. But at the end of the day, who really benefits? I guess just the AAU coach laughing all the way to the bank.
Going to AAU coaching.
Joe.
Fellas, there is a feud in tennis, and it's between Sloane Stephens and Serena Williams. Stevens claims that Serena won't acknowledge her ever since she defeated Williams in the Australian Open. Is Serena justified to be angry at Stevens for the emotional upset?
I certainly don't, you certainly don't have to acknowledge your competitors. This is someone who, they had somewhat of a relationship in the past. I guess the new thing today is, are you friends on Facebook? Do you follow each other on Twitter? Serena did follow Stevens. Now she has unfollowed Stevens. I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a low blow. I know I'm probably putting that on a pedestal, but I'm just saying. It brings attention to the sport. But remember, not all publicity is good publicity. I think, to me, it shows me who Serena is. She seems like a little bit of a poor sport after this. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm taking that poor sport and I'm reversing that to competitor. She's a competitor. She used to be the best in the world in women's tennis, and she'll continue to dominate like that. She lost. She wasn't happy about it. So she's just, I don't agree. I don't think I would go out there and do that and follow them on Twitter. But she did, Serena Williams, a tweet that I looked through at her tweet. She tweeted, "I made you."
Interesting.
Talking
Stevens had some comments back to that.
So
it gets messy from there.
I think it'll blow over, but it just shows their competitor. It's a high level. They all want to win.
Joe.
PJ Carlesimo is out as head coach for the Nets, as Brooklyn has seen more coaches thus far than seasons. Carlesimo finished the season 35-19 and led the Nets to the number 4 seed. The Nets were upset by the Bulls in 7 games. But do you think this was the right move by management?
Well, you look at it, first round of playoffs, not where they wanted to leave, but they played against a real tough Bulls team. Even without Derrick Rose, Heinrich was out a little, Dang was out a little, but a real tough Bulls team. Joakim Noah is playing out of his mind right now. And in game 1 against Miami, well, what I saw earlier, playing great. So tough break for them. I don't think they're a first. If they would have got in a different matchup, they might have got by the first round. But this Nets team has the talent now to be a contender. And with that, I think the management's just trying to change things up, saying, listen, we want to be a contender. Good is not good enough. We have to be better than good. Let's try something new.
And that's fair, but championships aren't built overnight. He didn't even get a full season, didn't get a full off season. That's where my gray area comes into that one, Adam. I don't know. I think you got to give him an off season, full next season, you know.
All right, thanks, Joe. Don't get that arm tight. We'll be coming back to you in the 8th inning. But up next, catch up with our Athletes of the Week. Stay tuned.
The Lakers oust Cortland 50 to 98-20. Something like that.
I'm Linda Cohn. I graduated from Oswego way back in 1981. And my favorite TV station way back then, of course, WTOP.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
You're watching
Oswego
Sports
Update.
Welcome back to Oswego Sports Update. Adam and I are joined now by Brian Hamilton and Pat Brown, 2 sophomores on the Oswego State baseball team. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. What was it like playing in the postseason?
First year playing in the postseason for me. This is my 3rd year here, redshirted 1 year. It's a lot different, a lot more fun. It's good playing in the postseason, you know, a lot more excitement than past years, and look forward to being there in upcoming years too.
Yeah, you know, last year we didn't get there, and this year it's been a lot different. You know, it's a whole different environment when you're playing. It's just you 4 teams in the final season.
You guys came in. You talked about this year, you know, really being the year to make steps. We had you on the show before the playoffs. You talked you might have a shot at the SUNYACs. Made a pretty good run for it. Got to this championship. Take us through the actual SUNYAC tournament. Those games. Take us through games.
You know, the run of the championship was good. Started off good, playing a New Paltz team that swept us, so we definitely wanted to get them back. That felt good to get that win out of the way. And then, you know, going up your top dog, Cortland. Tough game, you know, jumped out to an early lead. They came back, put up a couple runs, and then they just piled it on from there. It didn't turn out the way we'd like it. And then game 3, coming out of the loser's bracket, you know, tough game, playing right after you lose. Same day doubleheader, which Coach said was the toughest game in the tournament, coming right back out of a loss. And jumped out and put it back on them. And they came back and actually took a lead and saw our season slipping away from us a little bit, put up 3 in the 9th and had a walk-off win. That was probably the best game I've ever been a part of in my career. Great to get to the championship, and then the next day it just didn't work out for us.
And then, Brian, so going into the final game, what was the game plan headed into that championship game against Cortland? Really, you know, you had to leave it all out on the field.
Yeah, you know, we played Cortland a couple times before that game, so we beat them once, first time we played them in the year, but they're a great team. Obviously, like you guys said earlier, ranked 3rd in the nation. But we knew we had a chance to beat them, but that day they just got the best of us. You know, they literally just hit everything that we threw across the plate, even if on good pitches.
And then with that, so you guys still have that game on your schedule against Utica? coming up this week?
Yeah,
When
we
did
have a
that get dropped?
doubleheader this Wednesday against Utica.
And that'll be your last game. So basically, season coming to an end. A lot of you guys are both returning next year. What does the next year's squad look like?
We're losing a couple key pitchers. Definitely, a couple key guys, but we got a good group of guys coming back, and it looks like a good group of guys coming in. It's a couple transfers, a couple freshmen that are supposed to be pretty good. So it looks like a real solid team coming back, and we're excited for next year.
All right, and Brian, I guess I'll ask you this. Kind of keep mixing it up here. So for next year, you guys made the SUNYAC this year, made it all the way to being one of the final teams in it. What is the team's goal going to be for next year, as far as SUNYACs and maybe even regionals?
Next year, Coach says every year, he wants 30 wins, 30 and 10 every year, which is a great goal, and we want to make the NCAA tournament. But we really want to become SUNYAC champions. We know Cortland's going to be up there every year like they always are, and we're really emerging in the past couple of years, and we're about to be just up there with them, competing each year for a championship.
Great. And you guys have proved that surely this season. Now, you two, a few standout players on the team, some All-SUNYAC honors in that tournament. Well, what are your guys' personal goals going into next season? You'll be the leaders of the team now, some of the better players on this year. Now you're going to be looked at as the leader. What are your goals?
Personally, I just want to play a role in helping the team succeed and helping the team win. I think it's important that every player plays their own role, and that I think if everyone's on the same page playing their own role, I think that's how you win a championship and how you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, I know you guys talk a lot about personal stuff, but I really don't like to focus on that stuff. It's more of a team game, so we got to look as a team and got to do each individual job to get the job done.
Now, Brian, that's definitely a great way to look at it. Both of you, great ways to look at it. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. Your brother will be joining you on the team next year. Is that?
Yeah, that's correct. My brother's a senior this year, and he's coming here next year to play.
Very cool. What position is he? Are we going to see a competition going on? Or
He's actually also a third baseman, but next year I'm moving to second base, so we'll make room for him.
So two double plays with him.
Two Hamiltons potentially in the infield for next year. Very interesting. All right, Brian, this is your second appearance on the show, I believe. Pat, this is your first, so we'll have to get you guys back on here next year. Let's just talk about quick, maybe some summer plans. What do you guys do to stay in shape in the off season?
Summer is big for working out, getting in shape. With the season, our college season, especially up north, you play a lot of games in a very few amount of days, especially with cancellations and stuff when it comes down to the wire. You're playing almost every day. Working out is hard. You're tired all the time. So it's a big focus on working out, and a lot of kids, most of the kids, coach encourages you to play on summer teams. You see a lot of kids playing the NYCBL, which is a great league around here, and other kids play in smaller leagues, which don't play as many games and aren't as taxing on the body. But it's important to play in the summer and most likely just get in shape and be ready for the fall in the next season.
Yeah, like he said, just working out, basically getting stronger, getting quicker for the next year. And basically for hitters, it's just about me getting at bats. Really don't care about fielding as much. Really just want to get on my at bats and stay toned. For him, I'm sure he wants to just get innings.
Great.
Adam, feelings like riding that bicycle. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it. Good season. Congratulations. Have you on next year when you make the other run.
Thank you.
We'll be back. We got Joe Manganiello coming up with some help wanted, and then we'll finish the show strong. We'll be right back.
Learn your lesson.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me. Feed the pig.
You're watching Oswego Sports
Update. Welcome back. Hey, Joseph, how you doing over there? Who needs help?
Who needs help? How about we focus on Sixth Man of the Year, J.R. Smith? He's been doing a lot of talking lately, not a lot of walking, as you alluded to earlier, Adam. Yeah. Smith has been atrocious since he was ejected in Game 3 against the Celtics, earned a suspension for Game 4. Smith is shooting 36% in the playoffs, and the Knicks aren't doing much better. Guys, what can the Knicks do to salvage this season?
Well, they're in trouble. Their star, Carmelo Anthony, 10 of 28 in that last game. That's 18 missed shots. LeBron only missed 22 in that entire first season. That's a different story for another day. Knicks are in trouble. There's been talks about, do you mix the lineup up? I think you just got to keep going with what's been working for you. You just got to make more shots.
Yeah, and with that, that'll come back. You got to do the other things well if you're not making shots. Play better defense. Don't let the other team score. Joe.
Yup.
New York State of mind tonight, fellas. Not a good sign if you're a fan of New York teams. The New York Rangers are down 2-0 to the Washington Capitals. In 2 games, the Rangers have 1 goal. This is the same story last year. So the Rangers went out and picked up Rick Nash to help solve the scoring problem. But guys, what is the problem with the Rangers?
I'll tell you what, tonight they go in. They got 2 goals. Not that game will conclude against the Capitals, but this Capital team's really good. Ovechkin, a leading goal scorer in the NHL. He comes out, he's playing well. It's hard for the Rangers. The Rangers do have a lot of stars on their team. They can't rely on their goalie anymore. It reminds me of last year's Sabres team. Brian Miller, very good goaltender. They just couldn't score.
And defense, it wins championships, but it only takes you so far. If you can't score, you can't win a series. You can't overlook the Capitals. That's for sure. And trades for Rick Nash doesn't solve everything. You got to score. You got to score.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim were supposed to be a blockbuster hit this summer, but so far they have not done well in the box office, figuratively. The Angels are 11-20, 9 games back of the first place. Josh Hamilton lists Texas Rangers manager Mike Scioscia. He's been with the team for 14 seasons. Guys, is it time for a change in L.A.?
I don't think so. Give the guy some more time. I'm not a big fan of, it's not April baseball, but it's barely May baseball. Give the guy a chance, hop off his back. Firing coaches doesn't always solve the problem. I don't think I'm the only one who believes that.
Yeah, give him a chance. Too much talent on this team. See who can turn around. Joe?
It's you, brother.
And now the semester is almost over. So with about 2 minutes to go, we're coming down to the wire one last time. Roy Halladay has been placed on the disabled list today. Is Roy in trouble, Adam?
Yeah, he is. He's getting up there. A lot of injuries piling up for him. The Clippers are confident that they will keep Chris Paul. Blaze, where will CP3 play next year?
Seems to like LA, Lob City, why not? Adam, I think he stays. Orb, the 6-1 favorite, won the Kentucky Derby this past weekend. Is this the year we see a Triple Crown, Mr. Rupstick?
I don't think so. I was, Patino's horse had my bid. He didn't win. ESPN is conducting the 25 greatest sports video games of all time. Blaze, who tops your list?
That arena football game from 2005, absolute perfection. I love that one. Mr. Manganello, no mistakes tonight, but you definitely you got some senior shout-outs that you want to give to some graduating Lakers out there.
Athletics across the board was a great year. Want to give some shout-outs to some special seniors. Evelyn Josbana, she comes to the women's basketball program. The perfect left bounce passes, she was doing it big this year. Shelly Bateman, round of applause for 4 years. Not just soccer, but she does it with women's lax this year. That was great. Cassie Klein hit some big free throws for the women's basketball team. Great 4-year career for her. Men's basketball, guys, I know you're with me. Hayden, Sean, Gilks. We're talking about 3 of the best 4-year players the program's ever had. And how about Blake Fisher? Great member. He was on the show once. Division III Scholar All-American. Great job.
All right, and with that, what are everyone's plans for the summer?
It's been real. It's been a great summer. Great semester.
Great
Looking forward to a great summer.
All right. That's all the time we have for the 6th season of Oswego Sports Update. Thanks for joining all of us this year here on the semester at WTOV 10. Have a great summer. And come back in September for another season for the best man around.
So for Brian Tossi, the creator of OSU, and Evan Kals, the producer, who are both also graduating, we thank them for their hard work over the years. For Joe Manganello, Adam Rupstick, everyone else here at OSU, all the crew, everyone who puts in hard time to OSU, I'm Blaze Hill. I'm headed to Spain. And tengas un buen verano, Lakers.
He really is.